If you don't have a console to play Otome games, or if you don't have a PC and only have a Mac, there isn't that many options in terms of Otome games you can play. Well, what if I told you there is something that can open the PC Otome gaming scene to a certain extent, even if you only have a Mac to work with? Previously, I used Wine, if any of you are familiar with that, and that worked fairly well. However, with the new updates on macOS, it does not seem to work anymore. But I discovered that this is almost like a successor to Wine. This is Crossover. It is a program that basically allows Windows-based applications to run on macOS and other operating systems. Using this, I was able to play some PC Otome games on my Mac. More specifically, I was able to get Oz Mafia to run on my Mac using Crossover, and here's how you can too. First step is to download the Crossover free trial. Even though it's a trial that will stop letting you use it after a week, there are ways to get around this that you can look up yourself. Step 2, install Crossover on your Mac. Just follow the on-screen instructions to install it. Step 3, next you need to get the .exe file of the game you want to play. macOS is unable to open the .exe file, which is a PC file. This is where Crossover comes into play. Step 4, once you have everything, you can open Crossover and install the game. Here's how to do it. However, if this seems too daunting and you want some alternatives for some Otome games on Mac, here are some ideas you can try. You can use Steam to play games as long as the game is also compatible with Mac, as long as they are compatible with macOS. Specifically looking for Otome games that are compatible with Mac. Some examples are Our Life, Now and Forever, Cinderella Phenomenon, and Blooming Panic, which is super cute. I highly recommend if you're okay with the unique art style. However, most of these are indie games that take into account Mac players, and there are not that many not well. There is also emulation that can be run on Mac, but the topic of emulation is pretty sensitive, and that's a whole other topic for another discussion. Some other alternatives are Parallels or Boot Camp, but Parallels and installing Windows, on the other hand, was too convoluted for my taste, which used up a lot of my Mac storage space, and the extra power needed to run was not worth it in my opinion. Disclaimer that not all games held to me games work with Crossover. It took me a lot of trial and error to get some Otome games I wanted to play running, and I'm not an expert in using Crossover. It is also known that Crossover doesn't work that well with heavy graphics games, but I was able to play Hades using it. However, I do have a MacBook Pro with the new M1 chip that allowed my computer to run while getting a bit warm in exchange. Having said that, Otome Games' casual novels should be fine with this. But I wanted to let other people know that Crossover is simple and for the most part straightforward compared to other types of methods for me personally. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.